Across college, the NFL season kicks off in 5 days with the Cowboys. They haven't made any headlines. Heading to Philly to take on the Super Bowl champs. Dallas will, of course, be without Micah Parsons, traded to Green Bay Thursday. The four-time Pro Bowler agreeing to a 4-year, $188 million deal with the Pack. 120 of that is guaranteed. Dallas received defensive tackle Kenny Clark, 2 first-round picks as well. Here's Parsons speaking last night after joining the Pack.
No, I didn't have any say. It was just, I would say I'm pretty lucky because I understand the rich history of the Packers and the fact that they had interest in me and understand that they had a pretty tough team already in the NFC, and I was pretty much geared up, ready to play them, looking for revenge. But now I'm on the other side of adding to this rich history and being able to play with these guys and suit up and, play. I'm very excited.
Before you left, did you talk to Jerry, Steven? Did they tell you that you were being traded, or was it all through David?
It was pretty much all through David. You know what I mean?
So Micah Parsons joining one of the best teams across the NFL in one of the best divisions. 3 of the 4 went to the playoffs last season in the NFC North. What's the rest of the league as Jeremy Fowler joins the program this morning? It's the gift that keeps giving for SportsCenter viewers. What is the rest of the league saying about this deal going down?
Gee, the reviews are mixed. Now, I will say people around the league are not as down on this trade for Dallas as a lot of the media is that said it was a disaster. They said, if you had to move on from him, getting 2 first-round picks and a good defensive tackle on Kenny Clark is really not that bad. Not great. I talked to a few execs who said, hey, if you would have done it maybe in late March, early April before the draft, you could have got some better draft picks. Green Bay's going to be pretty good this year, so their first-round picks are probably going to be somewhere in the 20s in the first round. So the picks are not as good. The bigger criticism is that the fact they moved on from him at all. Like, you have a Hall of Fame player that you couldn't work it out with, but considering they had to trade him this late before week 1, they actually got a decent return.
4 years of pro, 4 years of Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro, and he's going back to Dallas to hunt Dak Prescott week 4, Sunday Night Football. The script keeps giving to us. Who's paying attention to the deal, the extension that Micah Parsons signed, 4 years, $188 million? Because he is the tide that lifts all boats.
Gary, if you are Detroit's Aiden Hutchinson, Thursday was a pretty good day. You saw that deal come down the pipe. I mean, the pass rush money is crazy. It has more than doubled in the last 7 years. So that's good news for Hutchinson, who is going into his 4th year. The Lions have 2 years of contractual control on him, so they don't have to do anything right now, but they have started a dialogue about a potential extension. The little bit of a hiccup here is that leg injury he had last year, and the Lions would like to see him get back on the field a little bit, see where he is. That's my sense. However, he's looked so good in the preseason and in practices, they're not all that worried about it. They know he's elite. He showed that last year in the minimal amount of games that he's played. So I expect the Lions to try to lock him up here sooner than later.
Micah Parsons became the highest non-quarterback to ever get paid in the National Football League. Hold that title while you can, because Aiden Hutchinson is probably coming for it sooner rather than later. Jeremy back in a little bit on the program with week 1 injury.
Oh, Michael, it has been too long. We miss you. It is so good to see you, and I'm sorry to be speaking to you under these circumstances. Michael, we just heard what you said to Laura yesterday. There's no way this man is getting traded. And then this.
We sure did.
Michael, just let it all out. This is a safe place, safe space for you. Just vent.
Just vent, sweat, and do it all.
First of all, let me start with this, Sam. That whole accident happening thing, I'm sitting here in the pain. And that thing has me laughing. It's just, all of the cuts in and out. You have a Steven A. doing. That's just great. That's great producing. And Molly, how are you guys? I want to understand this, though. What kind of friend is this? The only time he calls is when your heart gets shattered. And he says, hey, man, come on the show for a minute. Wait, what, guys? What does this mean? What do you mean? How much? What kind of friend do I call you? But I promise you guys, Jerry was hurt. All of this, I'm shocked, I'm surprised, because Jerry always says he has a great propensity for these kinds of things, and he can stare it right down the barrel. And obviously, there's no doubt, Jerry was hurt. I saw it when I watched the interview. I know him very well. And for, I love him very much. I know what he wanted with Micah Parsons, and I know not having it with Micah Parsons is hurting him deeply. And I believe it's hurting Micah deeply. You know, it's certainly hurting us here deeply. I heard Dan say, no, Micah was happy to leave. No. That would not be true. The emotions got all crumbled up in this whole thing. And it became a place where he wasn't happy to leave. Micah was happy to receive the money he was getting where he was going. But if you give him that money, he'd rather stay here. That's the reality. So come on now, feeling my pain. Feeling my pain.
Hold on.
Feeling my pain.
But it's not there. And what I need you to explain, Michael Irvin, when you say Jerry is hurt, okay, in the end, why did he do this? You got 2 late first-round picks. You got a decent player in Kenny Clark, but not somebody that measures up to Micah Parsons. According to Michael Irvin, why did Jerry Jones do this?
Because the great businessman let his emotions get in the way. And it's the one thing that Jerry always talks to me about. Can't let the emotions get in this thing. But they did. And I'm telling you, because the great love he has for Michael, to pull away from him.
Stop it.
Hold on.
And he made a bad decision
Michael,
here. I don't care what anybody says. He made a bad decision here.
Michael, I hate all this brokenness you're talking about. Everybody's sad, but what made this so personal? Why did he let his feelings get the best of him? A man that you've just said is one of the best businessmen in sports history. Like, what was he so upset about? What's the thing?
Right, and that's just it. You know, from what I understand when I talk to him, Jerry says this thing that they had worked on time and time again. Like Michael came to him, they changed the number. Then went to Steven, they changed the number. But if you did all of those changes and the number was still below the 41, at least the 41 or 42, then where did you start with Micah? All of it. But the reality is you made a bad decision. Not just not just from the money perspective. I'm talking about continuity with what you're trying to get done offensively and defensively. Now, if you can ever stop the run, you were 29th last year, you haven't been able to stop the run. So you got a big engine on the offense. You're going to put up points. He's the greatest pass rusher, one of the greatest in the league. How did